I'll just jump out and stay out.
Just buy then.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's Kyle and KZ.
More people get their voice out there, then I think they'll realize like we're all the same, really.
KZ decided, let's do it. Took the bait, so here we are.
Veteran Chat Project.
Where it's encouraged to not be okay all the time.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle and KZ, and we are the Veteran Chat Project. Is he's cutting out? You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry. Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, freaking lagged. I'm here. What's up, everybody? Another motivational Monday. I got an awesome guest today. One of whether you know it or not, he's a hero for all of us, especially as parents. Mike, what's up? We're gonna have him explain what he does here in a minute. But it's nice to have you on, dude. How you doing?
Man, I am honored to be on. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm doing fantastic, man.
Awesome.
So he actually, so you heard about us through Alder, right? James.
Yeah.
Oh, Skippo.
Yeah.
He's actually.
Yep,
if I had to hand out like a top badge, it would be to him, like a top top fan badge. That's
man,
guy right there.
I love me some Skip.
Yeah,
I was a tanker with Skip back in the early 2000s. Deployed to Iraq with him in OIF. So last I saw him was when I left Iraq. Actually, I ETS'd out the Army for a little bit. So back in 2003.
Oh dang.
Yeah.
So
I'm an old man. 43.
So you're a badass. You were a
behind you.
Badass tanker right there, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What I'm losing train of thought here already, dude. Fuck.
No worries. You're in a different environment.
Yeah, no, the new spaces got me flipped out, dude. Mike, you why the Army?
Why the Army?
Yeah, let's start there.
Well, so I grew up in a very poor area. You know, grew up without a dad. I was the only white kid in all Puerto Rican neighborhood, and went to all black and Puerto Rican schools, and just kind of went through a bunch of hell growing up. You know, as I grew up, I hung out with a bunch of thugs, did a bunch of stupid stuff. You know, breaking into cars and stealing stuff, and really had no direction in life. None of my friends had a good job. When I was 18, my big aspiration in life was to work in a factory and make $9 an hour. And if I can do that, I would know I'd made it. But you know, as time went on, the more and more I looked around, I was like, man, this isn't what I want. And so I actually went to broadcasting school. And so I was doing overnight stuff at an oldie station. You know, so here's Mike from the hood, listening to the gangster rap and stuff. And I'm working overnights, listening to like the Beatles and Chubby Checker and stuff like that. And I just hated it, man. I hated it. And so I remember the first non-trashy girlfriend I ever had. She had both parents. She lived in a nice house, had a car that was from that same decade, which I didn't know was a thing, you know, before I met her. Yeah. And knowing her dad told me that he was in the Army and he worked at the Springfield, Massachusetts MEP station. And so he told me some stuff about the Army. And so one night when I was at the radio station, you know, I was making $7.50 an hour, 24 hours a week, just hating it. And I remembered some of the stuff that he told me. And I was like, you know what? Let me check out this Army stuff. And so I went on a website. And as soon as I went on the Army website, the first thing I saw was an M1 tank.
Let's go.
And it said, "Do you want?" Yeah. It got me. Yeah. It said, "Do you want to explore an M1 tank?" I said, "Yes, I do." And so I hit up the recruiter. I was like, "Hey, man, my name is Mike. I want to join the Army. I want to be a tanker." He was like, "All right, bet. I'll be at your house at 6:30." So he came over. To my house the next night and showed me like a little motivational video. I don't know if you guys seen that one. It's like
probably the same.
It's really old. It's like a tank. It's like.
Everyone's seen the video.
Yeah,
around,
like you can do that. You don't
as
want
a tanker, I know all the torsion bars are just busted after that.
Oh, yeah.
But it looked cool.
Yeah.
It looked cool.
So gets a lot of people to sign up.
Yeah. And so I joined the Army, man. And so I did that for 4 years. And like I said, I went to OIF 1 with Skip Alder. And but at that time, I was starting a family. I had a daughter. I left for Iraq. My daughter was 1. My then wife was 8 months pregnant. And so I was in my tank, and we were going up to Mosul, and outskirting like Baghdad and stuff like that. And Red Cross message never came, so I was just stressing, my son was going to be born anytime. And eventually, I found out my son was born, and I said, you know what? I need to get out and be a family man. Well, so while I was in Iraq, I went to the little makeshift MWR, the movie theater. And so we were in there watching a movie, and this guy came in, and he said, hey, the Green Berets are here now. They need this building for a mission. Everybody needs to get out. And so so then I left the MWR, and I saw the helicopter land, and the Green Berets got out, and I was like, wow, those guys are freaking rock stars.
Yeah.
And so I eventually did get out of the Army for a few years, just doing like stupid stuff, just trying to be a regular guy, and I freaking hated it. Well, the Green Beret thing always stuck in my head. And so eventually I was like, man, I need to get back into this. I need to get back into the Army. I need to try this Green Beret thing before I get too old. And so that's what I did. I went to 82nd Airborne as infantry. Had to go to infantry basic training.
Dang.
And then maybe like a month and a half after I got to 82nd Airborne, I contacted the Special Forces recruiter. I told him what was up, and I went to selection 3 weeks later. I got selected. Yeah, I got selected, and after maybe a little less than a year and a half, I put my Green Beret on, and my MOS was a 18 Charlie, Special Forces Engineer Sergeant. And so I did that up until 2014. My last deployment, I came back home and my body just shut down on me. And after all the MRIs and stuff, like I was in just tremendous pain, man, tremendous pain. And after all the MRIs, my doc, who actually used to be a Green Beret until he went over and became a PA, he was like, Mike, dude, you can't do that stuff anymore. So you have 2 options. We can either attempt to hide you out and you can do paperwork for the rest of your career, or you can take a full medical retirement. So I was like, I'm not a paperwork guy, man. So give me that retirement. So I took that full retirement. And then while I was retiring, I got recruited into what I do now. And so this guy came up to me, and he worked for the, it's called the CARE Coalition. CARE Coalition, what they do is they help Green Berets transition into the real world. Because in reality, a special forces engineer, like, what do I do? Explosives, demolitions, breaching, stuff like that. Running and gunning.
Not
so
a lot of
like,
real world applications.
Yeah. So like that doesn't work if I'm managing Taco Bell. I can't work stuff. So he came to me. He was like, "Hey, man, they just started this program. It's called the Hero Child Rescue Corps, which stands for Human Exploitation Rescue Operative." And he said, what it is they take wounded and disabled special operations guys like yourself, and they train them in computer forensics to help take down pedophiles and save kids. Are you in?
Yes.
And I saw the recruiting video, and then I thought about it because of what I did in the Army. When we get out, we're throwing that big money jobs. You go make 200, 300K a year, being like a mercenary or contracts and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then for this thing to take down pedophiles, at the time, it was an unpaid 10-month internship. So I was like, yeah. So I was like, all right, make buttloads of money real quick over here being a mercenary, or get next to no pay, but take down pedophiles and serve a better purpose. Let me go do that.
Yeah.
And so, because I knew I wouldn't get paid jack at first. And then when I got brought on full time, at the end of 10 months, if you do good, if people like you, you get offered a position with Homeland Security Investigations. But then when you start, you're still starting at the low level. So I knew even when I got brought on full time, I would still be struggling money wise. It wasn't a lot of money, but I knew in the end it would pay off, because in the end, it's really good money, great benefits and stuff like that. And like I said, you serve a better purpose, so, and that's me. I feel like I need to serve a better purpose.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And I've been doing that for 9 years now. Moved to Reno, Nevada. aside from doing the forensics, taking down pedos and saving kids, I'll go to schools. I'll go to people's houses. I'll do online presentations and all on advanced online safety. I'll talk about ways to protect yourself, ways to protect your kids, and all this other stuff.
Yes.
I give a lifeline. To the kids in schools. When I go to schools, I tell them, hey guys, if you're ever being sexually extorted because you sent a picture that you shouldn't have or something like that.
Yeah.
I get it. You're embarrassed, you're scared, stuff like that. But if you think you don't have anybody to reach out to, you can always reach out to me. And so I leave my business cards. I put my business cards in the office, stuff like that. And kids come to me, man.
Oh,
they
good,
send me
dude.
emails. Yeah. They send me emails talking about stuff that's going on. And, even not right away, I get emails months down the road, kids needing help, or parents will reach out, educators will reach out. They'll hear something and they'll be like, hey, you know what? I got a guy.
Yeah, fuck
And
yeah,
then,
dude.
And then they reach out to me, and then, we get a case started, and, sometimes we get the bad guys, but overall, we let the kids know that, hey, you're safe now. Like, you're not in trouble. You didn't do anything illegal.
Right,
This isn't your fault, because these guys, man, these guys that sexually extort these kids and adults as well, bro, this is what they do. This is what they do every single day from the time they wake up to the time they go to bed. They work on manipulation.
Oof.
So yes, doing this stuff, they're going to be smarter than your typical 12-year-old kid with a cell phone.
Right.
So it's not your fault. Reach out. We're going to help you out.
Within the 9 years you've done this, because technology has advanced so far, do you find is it harder now? Is it getting harder to catch these pedophiles, or is it getting easier on your end because of the evolution of technology?
It's actually a bit of both.
Mm.
It's actually a bit of both. I know that sounds kind of weird, but so because of the advancement of technology, there's more pedophiles out there doing their thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, you have more people doing their thing, and so some of these guys are just dumb as a bag of rocks. Like they're going on a regular website and trying to Google like pictures of naked kids. Like literally putting that pictures of naked kids search.
Oh my
and stuff like that.
And that's just like
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like it just gives you an email. It's like Billy over in Nebraska was talking about Googling kids, and you're like, all right, Billy, like, hey,
Yeah.
shut it down, Billy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we do
fucking
get
wild.
those guys. Yeah. And so we call those guys like low-hanging fruit. Guys who are not really tech savvy, but because with the advances of technology and going online and all the apps and stuff like that, they're just out there doing their thing.
Yeah.
But then you have guys that are actually very smart at hiding this stuff, and those guys are a lot harder to catch. But we do catch those guys though, and of course, I'm sure you guys realize I can't go over the ways that these guys.
No, yeah.
Secret, you know what I'm saying? But we do still catch these guys. Like we caught. You heard of dark web?
Yeah.
Yeah, the dark web is just filled with child pornography, and we've caught some major players on the dark web because a lot of these guys, they're smart, but they'll mess up just one time. They'll mess up just one time.
That's all it takes too.
That's all it takes, man.
Yeah,
that's all it takes, and it'll send that signal to law enforcement, and then we'll go, man. We'll go. I'm on a team, so my team it's called ICAC, Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. So, and that is comprised of, Homeland Security investigations, local PD, Sheriff's Office, FBI, Attorney General's Office. And so we all work together, so each of our agents, we'll build cases, and then when we have enough evidence in that person, we'll go knock on that guy's door, hey, what's up? Heard you like naked kids, and then so they'll go in and clear the building
on that
right?
team.
Yeah. So they go in and clear the building. And it is funny too, right? Because when I first started, I'm actually the only guy that's not armed. it's like so
This
the
is different.
most trained guy, the guy that did this shit for a living.
Yeah, I
doesn't
was
have a
just
gun.
thinking that.
So at first everybody was like, all right guys, we're gonna stack up on this door, protect the Green Beret, make sure he's safe.
Like, don't worry, I got my cell phone.
Yeah,
I'm good.
yeah. So they're sitting there with the long guns, and I have like thumb drive. I'm like, all right, I'm ready. About to throw my laptop like a Captain America shield or something.
Yeah. Hey, do what you gotta do.
Yeah, and so when a site is safe, I'll go in with my little nerd tech, my nerd wizardry stuff, and I'll determine if that's the pedophile, if he has child pornography on his computer, on his cell phone, on his hard drives, stuff like that. And if it's determined that he does, then I'll take all that stuff back to my lab and I'll process it, and I'll go through everything with a fine-tooth comb.
Dude.
So yeah, and I see. I'm telling you, man, like every day I work, bro, I see the worst of the worst that humanity has to offer as far as child sexual exploitation. And we're talking about all the way up to, 17-year-olds, all the way down to literally just got back from the hospital and they still have their umbilical cord attached.
Holy fuck, dude.
Yeah. So
It just made me angry.
So I have to see all this stuff. Yeah, I know. So I see all this stuff and I get everything. I separate the legal from illegal. And then what I do is I take the, like the 4 worst pictures and the 4 worst videos that I could find on that suspect's computer or phone. And then I write in graphic detail what I'm seeing. So now when the judge reads that and the jury hears that, what it's on there, they're like, holy cow, this is freaking terrible. Because we want that shock and awe.
Yeah.
We don't want to downplay this stuff.
No.
Like, oh, it's just, he might have come across this stuff on accident.
Not trying to humanize this piece of shit. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's what I do for work, but to
that's definitely got to be the
now,
dark side of it, like very fulfilling.
Yeah.
Like you were saying before we got on, as long as you can kind of compartmentalize, being able to repeatedly kind of see the worst, like you said, humanity has to offer. Like, yeah, it takes a special kind of person. So first of all, I mean, like, fucking thank you for doing that. I mean, I have a kid myself. KZ's a father of 4. I mean, I'm sure a lot of our listeners are parents, and
yeah, I have 3 of my own.
So, I mean, like, that kind of stuff's huge. And even like we touched on before we started as well, like, we weren't never really given a playbook on how to raise kids with this technology that's available. And like, it's also like, it's in technology that it's not supposed to be in. Like, I heard one was like YouTube Kids has so many like child predator profiles on there that you just really shouldn't let your kid get a YouTube Kids profile. Snapchat, don't let them use Snapchat, because if they're like locations on, they could come find right where they're at, kind of stuff. And
dude, Snapchat's the worst, man.
That's what the Dad Edge says all the time. That Larry Hagner, he's got a good podcast on his, a lot bigger than ours, but says Snapchat is like, he's got a 17-year-old and he's like, nope, no Snapchat.
Yeah. I don't know if my kids will ever get Snapchat, at least if it's up to me. Dude, once the internet is crazy and technology is crazy, once they get a hold of technology, they're susceptible to the entire world, dude. That stuff, my wife and I kind of sit back and like, I don't know if we should do this or not. But you just got to monitor them really closely and just make sure you know what your kids are doing. Go ahead, man.
And I'm sorry. So Snapchat, what Snapchat does, not just for kids, but for adults as well, it provides a false sense of security, right? So a lot of time people will think, okay, if I set this picture to 7 seconds, I could take a naked picture of myself. I could send this picture out and then it'll disappear forever for 7 seconds, after 7 seconds. Man, this is not the case.
Oh.
I've worked entire cases with stuff on Snapchat, right? And I always tell people, man, general rule of thumb, once you send it on the internet, expect it to be there forever.
It's out there. The internet owns that shit now.
Yeah, it says it goes away. I'm telling you right now, it doesn't go away. And it's easy to to record and get pictures of whatever somebody's sending to you without anybody knowing.
Mm.
You know, and I'm not going to go over how that happens,
Yeah.
of course, but it happens, and a lot of people's lives get ruined because of it. And then another thing with Snapchat and online and stuff like that, TikToks, and I tell the kids in schools this stuff too, and it's scary, but it's the truth, right? A lot of these people, what they'll do is they'll post their locations, right? So like, for example, say on Snapchat, you have 3,000 people following you. I guarantee you don't know 3,000 people.
Mhm.
And I guarantee some of those 3,000 people are looking for the right opportunity to strike. Some of those people want to harm you, right? So if I'm a 12-year-old girl and I'm posting on Snapchat, oh my God, me and my bestie are parent free this weekend. We're at this amazing resort, living life on our own, you know. Well, now these pedophiles and these monsters that are watching this girl's Snapchat, well, now they know what she looks like. They know what her friend looks like. They know that she has no parental supervision that
exactly
weekend.
where they're
They
at.
know exactly where the location is. So now they type up Google Maps. All right, where's this at? Oh shoot, you know what? It's an hour away. I'm gonna go get her. Now, with the quickness, her and her friend become a victim of sex trafficking, never to be seen again. Right? And these sex traffickers,
That's how fucking crazy it is these days,
these
dude.
sex traffickers will use these people up, and then when they can't get anything out of them anymore, what do? They dispose of them. By that I mean they kill them.
Yeah.
Dang.
And it sucks to say, you know. And when I tell kids this in schools, it shocks them. You know, I have some kids that are getting taken out of my presentations because they're crying, because they're like, oh my God, I've done this exact same thing.
Mm.
You know, and reality hits. Wow. You know, and some of these kids, they've had some scares.
Yeah.
They've had some scares in life, almost became a victim of sex trafficking, or they become a victim of sextortion, you know, stuff like that. And it's terrible, man. It's terrible. And every single school that I go to, like I've gone to elementary schools.
I was just about to ask that, Mike. Like,
Yeah.
how young is too young to start these conversations with these kids?
You know what?
It's a good question.
The youngest girl that I've seen online that made videos of herself, nasty videos of herself, and sent them out, was about 6 years old.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
was that like because somebody basically like, you know, talked her into that, or obviously like it wasn't like on her own like doing hopefully, but you know, that's just what we were saying earlier too, is like how easy it is for people to just contact your kids.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. Somebody did what's called grooming.
Mm-hmm.
You know, somebody probably groomed that girl. You know, by grooming, you gain that kid's trust. You know, so like if you talk to the kid and you're trying to find out about their life, and they tell you their mommy and daddy are getting divorced. Oh man, you know what? My parents got divorced. I know how hard that is. You know, here, talk to me about it. You know, I'm here for you, right? Or, wow, mom's ordering pizza tonight. Pizza's my favorite food. Wow, pizza's my favorite food. You know, and they just do this, right? They just do this. And so grooming can happen over a couple hours. Grooming can happen over many, many months. You know, so once they gain that kid's trust, kids sending that stuff out. Now that specific 6-year-old girl, I'm not sure. She was actually a unidentified victim. She was just in some videos that I came across on a guy's computer. So so where they came from, the context behind all that stuff, I'm not even sure. So
that's still just crazy to think.
Yeah. So when I go to the elementary schools, my presentation is different than say at a high school.
Okay.
I don't go into graphic detail, but I still tell a good amount of detail. I kind of vanilla it up, but I still tell some stuff to make sure that they're safe.
Yeah.
You know, and if they have any questions, they can ask their mom or their dad, educator, you know, stuff like that. So yeah. So depending on their age, it gets tailored for that. Like I actually have like 3 different presentations that I do for the kids, and also a presentation that I do for parents and educators. So typically when I go to a school, I'll do, like, say I go to a high school, right? So the first presentation I'll do is say 9th and 10th grade. Second is 10th or 11th and 12th. And they're high school, so it's all the same presentation. And then I'll come back at nighttime, probably about 6:30 at night, and I'll give a presentation to the parents and the teachers in attendance. tell them how to watch for the signs, what to watch out for, how to keep their kids safe. And also, if their kid ever goes up to them and tells them something, to let them know that you as a parent are their safe space.
Yeah.
Because I get it, man. I get it as a parent. You don't want to think of your child. You don't want to think of your 13-year-old kid as going online, talking with adult men and doing nasty, nasty stuff on video.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to think that, man. That's terrible. That's terrible. But the reality is, if it happens, they have to know that they can come to you. Hey, mom, dad, look, I messed up. I'm in trouble. I sent some videos. Now they want $500, or they said that they're going to release it to the world. So yeah, the parent can be disappointed, parent can be mad, sad, stuff like that. But first and foremost, the parent has to be there for the kid, because the kid's not going to get the help that they need. And if something else comes up in the future, the kid's going to be like, well, shoot, I can't turn to mom because she's going to shit on me.
Yeah.
She flipped out and made me not like it's not something to flip out about, but you gotta, like you said, you gotta be that safe space. You gotta stay there. And then once they go away, you can be like, what the fuck?
I had a case, I gave a presentation out of high school, and 2 weeks later I get an email. This kid, he was talking to this pretty girl on Instagram, and one thing led to another. He sent a picture that he shouldn't have. And then she was like, boom, gotcha. And by that time, she had gotten all this information. She knew all the guy's friends, where he went to school, his parents' names, stuff like that. And so she said, hey, you need to send me this amount of money or I'm going to release it to the world. Right. So this kid, he sent her the money. He had a job, but he wasn't making much. Well, then she wanted more. And then so now he had to go and get all this money from his friends. He had to burn all these bridges with his friends by taking money from them, hitting up family, and hey, I can't really tell you what's going on, but I need this money. And he was paying this girl, and his life was in shambles. He wasn't sleeping at night. He was shaking because he was just so scared of stuff happening, and he didn't want to tell his dad because he was scared of how his dad would take it. So he came to me. We got with him. We got with the school principal because the stuff was happening at school, and then we called the dad. We had a meeting with the dad. The dad, of course, was disappointed, but first and foremost, the dad wanted to be there for his son. So anything and everything that we needed, the dad was there for us, and the dad was there for his son. And so now that kid is safe. He doesn't have to worry about getting money and stuff like that. So, so that's why it's so important to just calm yourself down, take a deep breath, and just be there for your kid when and if they mess up.
Yeah, it's definitely when, I feel like, because we were 13 in a different time, it was just, you weren't, like you said, your little mistake that you made as a 13-year-old ain't gonna and come back and haunt you like that. It's just, it's actually really fucked up to think. I know, I've heard of it just in listening to other podcasts and stuff, and only recently have I really thought about how actually much that shit actually happens. And it's alarming. Another one they said on there was there's so many predators or pedophiles or whatever you want to call them, and there's not enough people in your position actually that are, like you said, it's not a competitive job. There's not enough people doing it to take down the amount of people that are that are going after kids, so it's what are some ways that people can kind of arm themselves against this sort of thing, prepare themselves, for myself or KZ? I know we talked about that Bark app. Is that something like that, or is that specifically even something you would recommend?
Yeah, definitely. So you can, on your kid's phone, you can install the Bark app. It's a parental monitoring software, and there's many different softwares too. So, and they're coming out with new stuff all the time. So I would just Google best parental monitoring software, 2023 or something. So I know Bark. Most of the schools that I've been to use Bark. I know there's one app called MM Guardian. MM Guardian. So I recommended that app to a friend, and she said, Mike, my son has been able to defeat all these other parental apps, and he freaking hates MM Guardian because he can't beat it. You
Good.
can't get around it. Yeah.
That was gonna be my
And
next
the
question.
thing is, and the thing is, as parents, we don't really want to like be sneaky and spy on our kids, but
Yeah.
it's necessary, So if you do install that on your kid's phone, maybe hide it. Hide it deep inside some folders. Maybe create some extra folders and just keep hiding the folders. You know what I'm saying? Like put one folder in another folder, then another folder in that folder, and then hide the app inside there. So it's really hard for them to find, right? And so what these parental apps do is you can set it up to where if the kid sends a text message, it shows exactly what's been sent to who it's been sent. If they're trading pictures, it shows that. If they're going online to all these, different apps and websites and stuff like that, it'll show you all that information, pictures, videos. You can do restrictions, So if you don't want your kid accessing apps or websites that are made for people that are, say, 13 years old and up, you can do that.
That's dope.
Yeah. So I remember my youngest son messed up in school, and he's actually in the kitchen right now listening. So I remember he messed up in school, right? So I wanted to really restrict his phone. So I installed one of those apps. And my phone was constantly blowing up, man. He kept trying to like talk to all these people and trying to access these websites. It's like, oh, Christian tried to access bigboobs.com. Denied. Stuff like that. And so the thing is, when I talk to parents about installing these apps, I always tell them, again, we want to think our kids are innocent and sweet and stuff like that, but the reality is that's not the case.
Oh yeah.
So if a kid is sitting there and talking with his friends and dropping F-bombs, just let it go. Just let it go. Kids are going to be kids. Now, if you see a kid is talking to an adult, or if a kid is saying a bunch of racist stuff, or sexist stuff, stuff like that, like real hardcore things that'll really get him in trouble.
Yeah.
Then step up and be like, hey, look, I'm seeing everything you're doing. You need to cut this crap out. But don't dime yourself out because your kid is cussing with his friends. Especially if the kid doesn't know that app is on his phone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely. I know they also. I mean, those apps also like they hunt for keywords too, right?
Yeah.
Like it'll trigger you or it'll alarm your phone if like it's like suicide or fucking if they're Googling. Like send a picture, like you said, it'll tell you. So I mean that kind of stuff's cool. I'll definitely try to get some of that. Like I just don't. Obviously like I don't have to worry about giving my kid a tablet. I think as like because my kid's 2, and I think as kind of he gets older, it's going to be kind of less of a thing that people do because of what we're talking about now and how dangerous it is. I don't think people are as quick to give a tablet or a device or whatever it is to their kids.
Well, see, the thing is though, because tablets nowadays are so cheap, cell phones are so cheap, a lot of these parents, what they're actually doing is instead of spending time with their kid or whatever, the tablet has now become the babysitter.
Yeah.
So
I hate it. I hate the fucking
go away. Dad's watching the football game. Here's a tablet. Go freaking have fun. And then you got the freaking 6 or 7 year old go doing whatever, and of course the dad doesn't think a 7-year-old will access bad sites or whatever, but this stuff is spreading worse and worse. It's terrible, man. It's terrible. All you have to do is go into a search bar, misspell one word, and hit search, and then a whole bunch of pornography comes up or something. Now you have that 7-year-old exposed to freaking hardcore pornography.
Yeah, he's down a rabbit hole then.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I tell parents as well. If they do come across this stuff on accident, right? If you have a kid that comes across this stuff and they come to you, don't flip out on them. Explain to them what's going on. Explain how to protect themselves. Hey, if you come across this stuff, turn it off. press the back button, tell a trusted adult, stuff like that. Don't go off on them, right? Because you have to think about it, right? So say that dad who wants to watch a football game gives his 8 or 9-year-old a tablet, says, here, leave me alone, right? Well, now that 8-year-old accesses some crazy hardcore pornography.
Yeah.
So think about what they're going through. Okay. So for example, me, I've been doing this job for 9 years. I see the worst of the worst every day. I still get shocked. I still get bothered.
Dang.
There's times where I come home and I'm still shaking. Hell, I had a nightmare about one of my cases. It was last week. I woke up last week and I didn't want to go back to sleep.
I don't know
Right.
if I'm stable enough for that.
Yeah.
I don't think I can do that.
So imagine this 8-year-old coming across this stuff for the first time. Imagine what's going through them. How that's mentally affecting them.
Yeah.
How it's breaking them down. It's like, so that's why you have to be there for the kid and tell them, hey, check it out. This is what you do if you come across stuff. But then also as a parent, you also have the power to go in there and you can mess around with all the restrictions and stuff like that on a tablet, on a phone, on a computer, laptop, stuff like that. You could play around with the restrictions. You can't go to this, if you're this age, you can't go to this site, stuff like that, or make a kids only login, to keep them safe. It's not going to keep them 100% safe, of course, but it will still filter out so much stuff.
Yeah. Mike, I got a question for you. The as like you being a parent yourself, like how is that, and with the job you do, growing up, both my parents were in law enforcement. So like, look, as a kid, when I grew up, I was like, man, my parents are super strict. But it was, as an adult now, there's, I understand why they were so strict, because they both saw how, evil every day. They saw what people were capable of. So of course, when they went home and they parented me, I was restricted from a lot of stuff just because of the stuff they saw. Does your work like affect how you parent your kids?
With me, not really. So my kid, so I have 3 kids currently. My daughter's 21. I have a 20-year-old son and a 17-year-old son. So I started this, like I said, 9 years ago when they were much younger. Now what I do is I have taken them, I have sat them down and told them, what to watch out for, what not to do, what to do, stuff like that. Another thing that I've done is I don't go into graphic detail, but I have told them about some of the cases that I've worked on, and the reason for that is I'll tell them, hey, kids, check it out. I'm working this case now. This is how it came to be. This is the app that this kid used. This is what this kid sent out. This is how the monster tricked this kid into sending this stuff. So please be careful. Don't send this stuff, yada, yada, yada. So yeah, so my kids know. Then they know if they do get roped up in this stuff, they can come to me. And, of course, I'll help them.
It's not like a stay off this app or I'm taking your phone. It's like, look,
right,
this is what could legitimately happen.
Yeah,
from an educational standpoint, I think that's a great way to go about that. That's how I think I would as well, for sure.
Yeah, because the thing is, you can't. Certain apps, like really, 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 really bad apps, yes. Okay, don't go on that app. It's nothing but trouble. Okay, but for the most part, if somebody's friend, like if you have a teenage boy or teenage girl and all their friends communicate through Snapchat, that's the only way they communicate. You can't tell that 13-year-old girl, look, you are not allowed to go on Snapchat. All of your friends go on there and they all talk. You are not allowed to go on Snapchat. You don't want to really ban them from going on this stuff. Yeah. Because look at like you heard stories about like girls going to like Catholic schools and their parents be like super strict, right? Mm-hmm. As soon as they're 18, man, they go buck wild. Next thing you know, they're making pornos and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you can't really restrict them, because if you restrict them, as soon as they get the chance, there's a better chance that they're just going to go freaking crazy with it.
It's like a spring, you compress the spring so hard, you got to let go eventually.
Yeah. No, that's how, I'll be the first to say, I'll admit that myself. Like, I think that's why, I take full responsibility for my actions as an 18-year-old, but I think it had a lot to do with why I acted out from 18 to 21, just because, I was in this really, really strict household. Love looking back, I understand why my parents did it. I don't hate them for it, But it's like as soon as I joined the army, and as soon as I was like, that was the first time I was by myself, I went buck wild, dude. Because I was like, I've never done this. I'm gonna do all that. So
exactly.
I definitely understand what you're saying there. Just like the preacher's daughter, that analogy. Like, they're always gonna be bad.
So really, man, the best thing you can do is just educate the kids, you know. And so when I go to these schools, I actually give them real world examples.
Oh, good.
I talked about real world cases. So it's not just some guy going up and saying, "Oh, don't show your boobs online because you're going to get in trouble." No,
here's a
I give them
PowerPoint of
real
what not
cases.
to do. Like, thanks, see you later, bye. I give them real cases of what happens. You know, there was a case where a guy got her to show her boobs, right? As these teenagers, they went to the same school. Girl showed her boobs. He took the picture and spread it around school. Next thing you know, this girl's getting bullied mercilessly. And not just like you're a whore, stuff like that. We're talking about like jumped off the school bus and everything, like beat up. And so what this girl did was she made a video of herself holding up flashcards describing exactly what happens.
Yeah.
You know, my name is so-and-so. I sent one picture of my boobs to one guy. Next flashcard. And she's going down. Well, then at the end of the video, it talks about her more. Pretty soon after that video was made, she ended up killing herself.
Oh shit, dude.
Yeah, because she just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, so that's real world stuff. You know, so I talk about that. I talk about some of the cases that I've worked on that are now closed. You know, and I talk about, like, I don't just talk about what happened. I talk about how that person got roped into that stuff. I talk about the grooming, you know, what to watch out for, you know, stuff like that. And it really hits these kids. You know, and so during these presentations, instead of these presentations, you having all these kids goofing off and playing around with each other, they're like, holy cow, this guy's talking about like real world stuff. So they're all these kids they're so focused, and I have so many kids coming up to me and asking me questions. And yes. So
it's good that they see
education, man. Education is the best part.
It's good that they see the importance of what you're saying, for sure. But I do want to do something real quick that I forgot to do the last 2 episodes, which is shout out our sponsors mid-show. So I'm going to take about 30 seconds to talk about our boys at Tejas Fabrication in Elkmont, Alabama. Will Putnam was on our show not too long ago, actually. So you can catch up with him and everything that he's got going on. He actually showed off one of his projects that they got going in his personal shop. So shout out Tejas Fabrication. If you need anything done, custom sheet metal work, restorations, custom suspension, engine swaps, hit them up. TejasFabrication@gmail.com and also 256-701-4873. So I think it's great that they're saying, like you're saying, like the kids in the grade schools are coming up to you and asking these questions and being very like kind of proactive into their own safety. I think that's awesome. And I think that's great that there's already these things in place to kind of educate. And it's important to educate, like you said, like through real world, because like you said, you're not just someone sitting up there barking off some stories. You're just not another adult talking at them. You're someone that's there, and like you identified yourself as like, I'm here to help you, and I will be. And you know, this is what kind of danger that you had no idea you were in. Which is crazy. I mean, like, I guess I always thought about like, oh yeah, that's, you know, I scroll through TikTok, and every once in a while there's like, you know, there's these apps you stay away from. And then like, if I see something like that, I'll just like, maybe I won't let my kid use that app, but like, who knows, in 10 years, it might not be there. One thing I don't let them watch is Coco Melon, just because I've seen so many people like, don't let them watch Coco Melon. It's like a brainwashing thing. And I'm like, sure. I still let him watch it for like one day, and then he's like in a trance. And I'm like, oh God, I think it's real. But and another thing too is like, I guess when they're looking on like that YouTube Kids, and like you said, if you mistype one thing, they'll like be like watching like a Peppa Pig, right? But it won't be Peppa Pig. It'll be like a like an off-brand version of her like shooting up bleach or something like that, or like telling you how to like go get your mom's credit card and send me your information and all that kind of shit. Like it's just so wild the depths that people go to to get your kids' attention. And I think that that's something that more parents need to pay attention to instead of like their own phones and their own devices. They need to be paying more attention on like what everybody else is doing.
All right, Kyle, chill out, man. I'm just kidding.
I'm only got my 2-year-old, and I'm like, man, I'm on my phone too much. I'm currently like, I'm on like a vendetta against screens in my house. I'm like, screens gotta go. I'll put my shit away, put my phone as far away from me as I can. Because another thing I heard on that, so I listen to that podcast like once a week when I'm cutting grass, and I'll catch up on like a couple episodes. But he said like 86% of the time you pick up your phone, and this is off topic a little bit, but like 86% of the time you pick up your phone, it's like a personal serving. You're not like doing anything of any importance except for scrolling. So like every time I pick up my phone, I'm like, God damn it, I'm doing it again.
Yeah.
But this week it's just all waiting for this damn job. Fucking job. But yeah, man. That is a crazy like, and you said you were recruited to do that, right? So you weren't just like, it's not a job, you were just, I'm gonna go and fight pedos.
Oh yeah, man. So yeah, the thing is, I was recruited into this job, and the thing is, I hate computers. I freaking hate computers, but I hate pedophiles even more. So let me go take care of the pedophiles.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but what was the question?
No, you're good. I saw Alder. He said, as we're watching on this live on a tablet. But yeah,
that's, I mean, that the whole recruiting thing. I mean, that's good to hear that at least that phase of your transition went well. Would you, at least from what I heard, it sounded like it went well, transitioning out of the Army the second time into civilian.
Yeah, well, you know what? I struggled, man. I struggled.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so when I was going through the whole retirement process, man, it hit me hard. I went to like deep depression because my body was in so much pain.
Yeah.
I got told I couldn't do my Green Beret stuff anymore, right? So because of that, I got taken off my team. I was non-deployable. I was going through all this stuff, and I was popping pills like candy. You know, I got addicted to the narcs, and it was I turned into a monster. You know, life was hell. And then I secured this job, and for a while it was cool. You know, I came out here and I did this job, and I was taking out pedos, saving kids. But I went from being a door kicking action guy to literally sitting at a computer all day watching babies get raped. So that freaking destroyed me really fast. Okay, so I went to depression again, and I started, when I would get home, I would hold myself up in my room for a good hour, not talk to anybody. Keep in mind, at the time I was a single dad. My kids were young, so I had 3 kids at home, and I wouldn't pay attention. I would just hold myself up in my room and decompress. And I was having all these anger issues, ready to fight people at the drop of a hat. And so how I got out of that was I found this organization called GoRuck. And GoRuck, it started off as a backpack company.
Love GoRuck, dude.
You know GoRuck?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so I became a cadre for GoRuck.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I was one of the guys that was running the events. Okay, and so because I saw GoRuck was started by a Green Beret.
Yeah.
Okay? So I was like, well, shoot, I'm one of those guys. And so I sent them an email. I was like, guys, I don't know what y'all are about, but I want in. There can't be too many of us in Reno. So what's up? And then so I sent them all the verification to show I was actually legit.
Yeah.
They brought me on, and I started running these events, right? And so these events, it's military endurance-based events. So what I was doing, I was taking a bunch of civilians, and I was taking them on real long hikes and under 100-pound sandbags. But I was also teaching them stuff I learned as a Green Beret, military tactics and spy craft, military history, stuff like that. And so I was seeing what it was doing to the people, and it was taking people who really haven't, to them at least, they hadn't accomplished much in real life, or they didn't have a lot of self-confidence, Well, now they were getting beat down by this guy for 12 hours and learning all this cool stuff and making new friends. And I would see it would change all these people for the better. So then in turn, it was changing me for the better, right? So now I have this stuff over here taking down pedophiles, but now I also get to use what I learned in the military to help better civilians. So really quickly, that gave me my balance, right? So I went from up here, brought me back down level. And so that changed my world. And then from there, that's when I really stepped back, and I just had a new outlook on life ever since then. I looked back at my life and I thought about all the really bad things that have happened in my life. But then I also thought about where it led to.
Yeah.
You know, so like if I didn't go down with injuries because of all the work I did in Afghanistan, well, I wouldn't have got recruited into my job now. So I wouldn't be taking down pedophiles. I wouldn't be saving kids. I wouldn't have been able to come to Reno and get my kids full time. You know, I wouldn't have been able to help civilians. I've had civilians come up to me and tell me that if it wasn't for me, you know, because they've talked to me, messaged me and stuff like that. I've met with people offline, just one-on-one, go to breakfast and stuff like that. I've had people come up and tell me, you know, Mike, if you didn't meet me for breakfast the other morning, I was actually going to kill myself. I didn't want to tell you I was in that deep of depression, but if it wasn't for you, I would have killed myself.
Damn, dude.
You know? And so I wouldn't have been there if I didn't go down with all those injuries in Afghanistan. You know, so that's how I live life now. It's like, yeah, if something bad happens, recognize it. You know, it stings for a little bit, but eventually you got to get up, you got to rub some dirt, keep moving forward. Because if you keep on moving forward and doing good in the world, well, it's going to reveal itself why that happens.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to sound like super preachy to you guys, but that's just how I live life.
That actually, it reminded me of a story I shared earlier in the show. The horse, the farmer and the horse, I can't call it. Guy is, I can't even remember it off the top of my head. I mean, the moral story is basically this farmer loses his horse and all is lost. And, you know, this dad's just like, you know, I can't call it, you know, because he's got that mentality of just like, you know, is it the end of the world, or, you know, will something better come out of it? And I mean, that's where we grow from. That's where humans grow the most, in those uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's great. I mean,
yeah, man. So for me, the big thing was finding that balance. That's how I lasted 9 years. You know, and I assume some of my class that didn't last that long, I assume it's because they couldn't find that balance, you know, because a lot of people, what they do is they have a hard day at work. What do? They come home, they pop a beer. Yeah. They sit on a couch. Yeah. You know, that's not really balancing yourself out. No. You know, that's masking the issue by altering your mind state for a little bit.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I found GoRuck, but my body was just so destroyed. Like 6 weeks ago, I just had spinal fusion. So eventually, from doing GoRuck cadre for 5 years, I had to retire from that. But from there, I took up acting. So that's what I do now to balance myself out, right? So now I'll go take care of the pedophile, see all that nasty stuff, and then I'll go act. I'll become a completely different character and make movies and stuff like that. And that gives me happiness, and that balances me out, and it's fantastic. And I meet a whole bunch of more people, and you know, dude, life is great, man. Life is great.
That's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
It's good. That's definitely a unique transition for sure.
Yeah. And that's the thing,
man. You gotta find story something for sure. And I love it.
Yeah. You gotta find something completely different from what you're doing in order to find that balance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something that's completely different, you know, like doing my acting stuff or doing that GoRuck stuff, man, it has nothing to do with baby rape.
Yeah.
So it's like, so two totally different sides of the spectrum. And that's what gives me my balance, you know? So that's what allows me to keep on going, you know? And the fact that I'm taking down the pedophile stuff, but I'm also going to schools and teaching kids. And also what I do is, some people at work knew of my background, knew some of my life story. So again, I got recruited into it again. I also travel the country when there's a major incident happens, like an officer gets killed, or if like there's a school shooting with my agency or something, they'll ask for volunteers. And so I'll go out and I'll be a mental health counselor for people in need. A couple months ago, I went to Miami for a week because the officer died. So we were there for the guy's family and stuff like that. Went to his office, talked to all the workers, made sure everybody was cool. So again, that's completely different from sitting on my computer. So I have my hands in all this different stuff. So if something becomes too hardcore for me and it's beating me down a little bit too much, cool. I'll take a break and I'll come over here and do this for a little bit.
Yeah.
Give myself a mental break. And that's what you have to do, man. You have to recognize where your limit is.
Yeah.
And a lot of people can't do that. And it sucks, man, because people won't recognize where their mental limit is, and they'll just keep on going. And sadly, sometimes it leads to them taking their life.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like to even believe that they have a mental limit. They're just like, I'm stronger than that. I can push through that. And that's that stigma, that we started this whole thing based around kind of fighting against, that stigma, like where it's okay to chat, it's okay to talk, it's okay to be like, I had a shitty day, or I had a shitty week, or I went through a very, very rough time in my life, or anything like that. And just to find strength in that, and to let other people find strength in that is, it's fucking beautiful. That's really all you could say.
And I really appreciate you like speaking on your transition, that part of your transition, going through that depression and, those, taking those pills. Cause I think, a lot of veterans need to hear that, or just, everyone needs to hear that, but, veterans especially, just cause, I'm speaking for myself here, but like, when I in the Army looking at the Green Berets, like those are like the elite of the elite, and just, to hear like, one of the, you being one of them, transitioning, like you went through tough times also, transitioning out of the military, and just like kind of losing your purpose a little bit, not being on the team anymore, and then and then now coming through it, putting your nose to the ground, going to work, and then having your hand, like you said, your hands are in all these pots, because that's what gives you balance. I appreciate you sharing that, just because everyone needs to hear it, because like we said in our little promo there in the very beginning, like we're all the same. We all have different scars, but we all have scars. So like, so that's super dope, dude.
That's why I fucking love Alder right here. This show is a constant reminder to myself that it is okay to be vulnerable. It helps a lot. Dude, we love you for that, brother.
Yep.
That's why we wanted to have him on very early on. He told us he was listening to all the early shows, and we're like, dude, well, fucking get on this thing, man. And his episode was really good, and that was one of our earlier ones. So and he pops on anytime I bet if we were to put the link on right now, he'll jump on and chat with you.
Mike, I gotta ask one. Well, no, I keep saying I gotta ask one question, but why
ask as many as
why?
I'm sorry, brother.
Yeah,
you're frozen right now.
Yeah, we lost him. You're back. Yeah, okay. He's back now.
What was the question? Oh, we don't have audio.
Nope.
Now, shake your head, yes or no.
He said,
"This was it." I think it was you were asking why Reno. Was that it? You're frozen, so I can't see if you're nodding or not. So
I'm gonna give him the boot. He's back. Kissy face. Hello.
Am I back now?
Hey, there she is.
Dude. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was gonna ask why Reno.
Yeah, he did. He's like, yeah. That's what he said. Is that you trying to ask? Yeah.
You know what? That's what people asked me when I went for my interview for my job too. They're like, bro, why do you want to go to Reno? Nobody wants to go to Reno. So I've been all over the country. I was born and raised in Springfield, Massachusetts, and then I lived like in Texas and North Carolina, Tennessee, stuff like that. I retired out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky, 5th Special Forces Group. So what happened was, after I got my beret, right, I was in North Carolina. My ex-wife, my baby mama, she was living in North Carolina with her second husband. And this guy was just a complete turd. She's no longer with him, right? This guy is one of the worst dudes I've ever met, just manipulative and just bad. But he was terrified of me. He thought I was going to take his woman. And that's not the case. I was like, yo, that ship has sailed long ago. There's no way.
But I am interested in getting her away from you.
Yeah. Well, so he gave her an ultimatum. He said, hey, we're going to move to Sacramento and live with your mom, or else I'm leaving you. We need to get away from Mike. And so again, she was controlled by this guy. And so she did. So she took my kids, moved to Sacramento, which is 2 hours away from Reno. And at the time, yeah, I could have fought it. I could have won. I could have got my kids. That's parental kidnapping stuff. But I knew in reality, with my job, I'd be gone all the time. My up tempo was too high, so I couldn't. It's like whatever. And so when I was retiring, I was like, okay, well, where do I want to go? Where do I want to pick? I want to go someplace close to my kids. Okay, I don't like California. Too many freaking gun laws. So let me pick Reno. And so I picked Reno, and I moved here sight unseen. Okay, but the thing is, when I got to Reno, the very first day I looked around and I was like, this is it. This is home. I was blown away, right? Because all I knew about Nevada was Las Vegas, casinos, desert, and legalized prostitution. All right. I'm not really into any of that stuff. So that's all I knew about Nevada. But when I got to Reno, I was surrounded by snow-capped mountains, beautiful lakes.
No shit.
Yeah. So the thing is, living in Reno, right? All on the same day, I can go hiking. I can go hiking in the desert. I can go chill out at the lake. I can go hiking in a forest. I can go climb a mountain, and I can go skiing, all on the same day.
Yeah,
That's
freaking
dope,
crazy.
dude.
It's crazy. Yeah. When folks from back east, when my family and friends from Massachusetts come over here, every time people come out here, they're like, dude, this is freaking amazing. Like people don't want to leave. People don't want to leave once they come out here and see just the absolute beauty that's around here.
I have the opposite effect when people come here.
Yeah. Where you at?
Southwest of Fargo, North Dakota.
Oh,
People are like, oh, you live here? Oh my God.
Yeah. So after being in Reno for a couple of days, I was like, man, that's it, man. It's amazing. And the more I go out and explore, like before my back got too bad to where I couldn't really hike.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing. My big activity when I wasn't working or running events and go-rec events and stuff like that was I was out hiking and exploring and stuff like that, which I still do now, but I'm waiting for my back to heal now. So now I'll drive. Nevada's filled with ghost towns and stuff like that. So I'll go check out like really cool ghost towns and all these other badass places, man. There's so much around here. California, it's a 30-minute drive. I'm over the border and in California. So it's like California, you have an amazing amount of trees all over the place, beautiful forests, lakes. Nevada is desert. So whatever pulls your trigger that day, if you want to go explore some ghost towns or if you want to go hike a wooded mountain, a forested mountain, it's all around. It's all around. I love it here, man. Love it here.
Oh, we lost him. That's dope, though. I had no idea. I mean, I guess I never really tried, like, never really thought about it either.
Yeah. It's a hidden gem, man. It's a hidden gem. Lake Tahoe, one of the most beautiful places in the world. I get there in 45 minutes.
Fuck yeah.
I was actually at Lake Tahoe yesterday, chilling out.
That's dope. So, I think I can get to
hang out
Canada in like 3 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not too bad though.
Canada's cool, man. I see some beautiful
rough.
stuff in Canada. They have poutine. I miss poutine. Poutine's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever had poutine.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been a chef for a while. Well, I was a chef for a long time. So like poutine, that's actually one of my favorite. Like I make that at home sometimes. Just put some gravy and some fries and some cheese curds, dude.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. I actually ran a go-rec event in Canada one time. And in Winnipeg. So when I got done running my event, I went back to my hotel room and they have something called DoorDash, or it's like DoorDash, but it's not DoorDash. It's like Skip the Dishes or something like that. I think it's called. And I ordered a bunch of poutine from this poutineery. And bro, I just put myself in a poutine coma. I was like, just lay it out. Lay it on my bed, man. It's like, that's it. Give me all the gravy, cheese, and fries, man. I'm good.
Do they have like all different like toppings and shit?
They did, yeah.
Honestly,
yeah,
dude,
yeah.
like I've been thinking about starting a food truck lately because I'm like I don't know what to do as far as like I need to start working now because like we have a nanny that started, and I'm like my wife works and I'm not working right now, and I need to start pitching in.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
just
dude.
just
Make a food truck, make some unique stuff on there that makes
just
it
some
stand out.
poutine, a poutine truck, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Nothing but different style poutine.
Yeah, man.
Poutine. What can I call it, dude? Vladimir's poutine. I don't know if people would eat it. I think people up here are too political to eat stuff like that. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Who knows? But no, it's been wild living up here. It definitely wasn't something I ever thought I'd be. Fargo, North Dakota, but it is what it is, I guess. We moved up here for family.
Yeah.
With a snowplow. Yeah, I would need a snowplow. Alder asked if it was real populated there in Reno.
Yeah. So I actually live on the city right next to Reno. It's called Sparks. So Sparks has about 140,000 people. Reno has maybe 250, 300,000 people, something like that. If you look on Neighborhood Scout, the crime index, like, so 100 is the safest, right? Reno is like a 12 out of 100. So it says Reno is dangerous. But dude, I've been all around Reno. I've been all around Sparks. I've never felt in danger. You know, I've never felt in danger. Like our hoods, I grew up in way worse places than our hoods here. And so I've never felt in danger at all. You know, so a lot of the crime is just like petty crime. You know, you have a lot of homeless. You have a like big meth problem. So you have like meth heads like kind of stealing stuff or whatever. But yeah, I walk around
that everywhere.
Man. Yeah, exactly. I walk around wherever. The vast majority of the crime, robberies and stuff like that happens like downtown areas, but I live in a nice area. So yeah, it's all good here, man.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty expensive though. It's pretty expensive. For example, it just blew up. So we have like a big Tesla plant out here and stuff like that. Like, so I bought my house a little over 3 years ago, right? So my house cost $400,000. Within 3 years, the house was worth about $650,000.
Damn.
Yeah, it blew up around here. And everywhere you look, man, there's freaking houses and apartments popping up all over the place. You know, because you have all the Californians. All the Californians were like, man, screw this state. We're gonna go to Nevada.
Yep.
You know, and so you'll have them,
and they're gonna go ruin Nevada. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And they were all moving to Texas, and they're gonna go fuck Texas up.
And Texas.
Yep.
Yeah. So a lot of times around here, man, you'll have a house that's on the market for say, you know, $600,000 or so, and people, you know, back in the day, you can lowball them. You know, oh, it's $600,000. I'll give you $525 for it. You know, and you negotiate. Not now. Oh, you're selling your house for $600,000. Okay, I tell you what. I just moved from California. I sold my expensive ass property, and I'll give you cash $650.
Yeah, right now.
Right now. You know, yeah.
Yeah, we had a similar situation. So my wife she had bought her house 2017, I want to say. Before I met her, she had her house in Colorado, and then I moved in and lived there for a while, and then we sold our house there after it had gone up substantially. They sent us an offer, and we're just like, yeah, like this is what your house is worth today. And I think it was like $250,000 more than what she paid for it, and she had already been making payments on it for a long time. With a big down payment that she put on it. So we're like, yeah. We put on the market, and like within 24 hours, our first offer was $40,000 over asking.
Oof.
And we were just like, yeah, let's just take this one. Don't even fucking try. Let's just take this one. They're like, we got 3 more offers potentially tomorrow, and I'm just like, like I don't really care. Let's just take this first one. Like we could have gotten another, however much, I'm sure, and started a bidding war, but like I just didn't want to do that.
Yeah,
I'm not the kind of person to like take advantage. Like the first person that sent it was using the VA loans, I think. So I was like, you guys got it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll hook up one of the boys.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's dude. Yeah, I got mine. My house was listed, or they put my house on the market at 9 a.m. Put an offer in at noon, and it was closed at 6 o'clock the same day.
Jesus Christ.
Sight unseen. Like we,
Wow,
yeah,
man.
we
That's
bought
crazy.
the house. We got the offer, or we put in the offer. They accepted it, and then we were like, okay, let's drive 3 hours down and see the house.
Yeah.
Thank God it worked out, dude.
Man, that's
Yeah.
nuts.
That could have went way different.
Yeah, we were going all off pictures, and our realtor was like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" It's
Like,
yeah.
yes, let's do it. We love it.
That's just the type of people my wife and I are. Dude. Like we just.
I mean, you had the gut feeling and you went for it, and it all worked out.
Yeah. I mean, that's how we got married. Yeah.
Right. That's the basis of your foundation.
Yeah, we went to go driver's license replaced, and we were like, "Oh, they're closed for lunch. Let's go get married." Fuck it.
I just realized that I'm logoed up right now, dude. Look at me. I got the chest logo. I got the new hat. And we got the logo over here. Dude, I'm wearing too much veteran chat project shit.
Plug the merch, man. Plug the merch.
Well, I just made this one. I got two more.
What was the you were talking about your what you do to like decompress all those your acting stuff. What was your latest project that you were on, if you don't mind sharing that?
Yeah, so the latest movie, it just came out yesterday on a small streaming platform, and within probably in 2 to 3 weeks or so, it's going to be on Tubi. It's called Ghost. So how I did the acting stuff is I started off in plays. So how I got into that is I did a men's physique competition, right? A little bodybuilding competition.
Yeah.
And when I stepped up on stage, I'm topless and tanned up and cut. And I had people next to me, man. They were like shaking, just terrified. And when I got up on stage, like the crowd was going crazy. I had a bunch of friends and family in the audience. And regular Mike doesn't like the limelight. I don't really hang out with much people. I'm very quiet, keep to myself. But when I was on stage, I was getting all this attention. I fed off it. I was like, wow, this is amazing, right? And then I thought back to me being a Goret cadre. Well, when I'm a Goret cadre, I'm a different character. I'm a different guy, right? So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try acting. I'm gonna give this a shot. And then so I went on Facebook and I saw they were having an audition for a play in a local playhouse. And they were going over the roles, and one of the roles was a sarcastic cop. And I was like, well, shit, I'm kind of that in real life.
I'd nail that.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm kind of that in real life. Let me go apply for this, right? And so I went there, and everyone's talking about themselves. Oh, yeah, I was in this play. I was in this movie. I was in this show, stuff like that. And I was like, I'm Mike. I'm just some guy. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so I auditioned, and then the director came up to me right after. She was like, hey, look, I want to actually give you the lead role for the males.
Oh shit!
Like, okay, cool. And so I got a much better part than I originally applied for, and so I loved it. I loved stepping on stage, and I did more plays. That role was I was a womanizing owner of a speakeasy, a woman abusing owner of a speakeasy, right? So I got to slap a lady in the face. I got kneed in the balls and all sort of stuff, and it was wild. And then my next play, I was family man Bob Cratchit in the Christmas Carol. So I had Tiny Tim on my shoulder, and I'm sitting there singing Christmas songs. Right? And then,
dude.
Yeah. And then my final play, because the plays was awesome. Like I had a wonderful time doing it, so much fun, but it also took up a lot of time, right? So it's like 4 hours out of my day, 3 times a week for rehearsals and stuff like that. So I decided to do one more play. Well, the director of this next play, she actually made a part like specifically for me, with me in mind, because she knew I did bodybuilding competitions and stuff. So I went from the owner of a woman abusing owner of a speakeasy to family man Bob Cratchit to a male burlesque dancer. So my last play, I was a male burlesque dancer, right? And it was an amazing part. So I had a great time. I got to do a little number and everything like that, and I got to do my own backstory, and a lot of my lines were just me just speaking, and it was so much fun. And so I decided, it took up too much time. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try movies.
Mm.
And then so again, I went on this the Reno Actors Guild, and I saw that there was an audition for this movie called The Flock, and they needed the role of a mercenary named Ghost. I was like, well, a mercenary. I was like, I was pretty much that in real life. So let me go try that again. And then so I went to the audition and I landed the role, right? And I remember one of the girls there, she was a female mercenary. She asked the director, she was like, hey, were you in the military or anything? Like, are you going to be teaching us tactics or how to act and stuff? And he was like, well, I know some airsoft guys. So some airsoft guys will come and teach you. And normally I don't put it out there. I was a Green Beret. I mean, this is different, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Normally I just kind of keep it to myself, but I was like, okay, airsoft guys. Like, no. Like I raised my hand. I was like, hey, I'm a retired Green Beret. He was like, oh, okay. Well, that's the guy. So
yeah, I just got a raise too, right?
Yeah. So during the gunfights, I will just follow you around with a camera. And so me and the director, we hit it off, right? Because all the other actors were like from theaters and stuff like that. And then here's me, like I was super professional, always on time, had a good vision, really easy to work with. And so after that movie was called The Flock. And so after that, he asked me, he was like, dude, I loved working with you so much. I had this other project that I've been wanting to do. I want you to come in with me. And I want you to actually co-direct with me.
Oh shit.
And yeah. And so this movie, it's called Tahoe Joe. And it actually went pretty freaking viral on Tubi. The thing is, we made it for $800. Is about so Tahoe Joe is basically a Bigfoot legend in the Sierra Nevada mountains. So Bigfoot out here. There's supposed to be a Bigfoot like in this area. And so we made a movie called Tahoe Joe. It's on Tubi, and it went wild. We're actually doing part 2.
That's dope, dude.
And it was just so freaking amazing. And so because this guy, my buddy Dylan Brown, he's with Horror Nerd Productions. Is his own production company. He had so much trust in me and he loved me so much that if I wanted something, like I got it, right? So we needed all these roles. And so I was like, hey, I got a guy. Hey, I got a girl, right? And so I started bringing in like my real life friends and family to fill all these roles.
Mm.
So one of the main parts is one of my coworkers who is also a Marine veteran.
Mm.
And so he comes in and so he's with us. And then for other movies down the road, and for Tahoe Joe too, I got my cousin out of DC. My cousin flew out from DC. He's an Air Force veteran. So he was in a movie, so now that's what we do. Like we have all these roles for veterans in our movies and stuff. And so we got Tahoe Joe that went viral. I was in a bunch of other movies. Like I'm on IMDb. If you look up Michael Rock on IMDb, like you'll see all my stuff on there.
Yeah.
And then so this movie, it was a spin-off from The Flock. It just got released on a smaller streamer, and it's going to hit Tubi in a few weeks. It's called Ghost.
Mm.
And so it stars me. And so it's low budget, kind of found footage stuff. Well, so Ghost, what it is it talks about there's all this like demonic activity, and the Catholic Church fund these mercenaries to go take care of like evil cults and all this other stuff. And what it is they assign a scribe, like a cameraman, to these mercenaries, because now what they're doing is they're making like a new Bible, because back in the day you didn't have video cameras, so it's all written down and stuff. Well, now you have video cameras, so now we're making a new Bible with these mercenaries and these cameramen, and so that's what it is. So I go around and me and my buddies, or I have a partner, we're going out taking out evil and stuff like that, and it's fun, man. It's like way different. We even have
you ever need help, let me know, man.
Yeah, I got you.
I don't know shit about acting, but I'm a goofy motherfucker, bro.
Nah, you're one of my friends now, man. You're in, bro. You're in. Yeah. And so what's cool is the guy that plays my dad in the movie, his name is Vernon Wells. And he was actually the main bad guy, the guy with the chainmail shirt in Commando. So the guy that fought Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando, he's my dad. Yeah, he also fought Mad Max or Mel Gibson in Mad Max too. He's like this dude with his big ass mohawk, and he was in also Weird Science. So that guy plays my dad. A super cool dude.
That's fucking badass,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. And so all this stuff is really taking off, man. And so I'm just getting like well known. So I'm being hit up from all over the place, and people want me to come in. And I just got asked to write and direct a horror short, part of a horror anthology. And I got asked if I want to go to Georgia to be the star of this other movie. It's amazing, man.
Dude,
It's
fuck,
just
yeah.
and that's just from having a good time. Like I wanted to get into movies, but I want to have fun with it. I don't want it to be like, you hear all these horror stories about actors acting like assholes and directors acting like assholes. When it starts to feel like a job, that's when I'm going to retire from acting. But I'm having so much fun. Me and my buddy Dylan Brown, man, we're going out there. We are having so much fun with these movies, and people see it. People see how well we get along on screen, and it really translates to on screen. Like our friendship and stuff. So, yeah. So again, man, when one door closes, another one opens up. I had to get out of the GoRec stuff, and now I'm in acting. What's that? I'm sorry.
Does that stuff ever cross your mind or freak you out a little bit? Like, being so well known versus the job you do?
No, because the thing is, I use all these platforms to talk about what I do.
All right.
Whether my agency likes it or not, I'm telling you, bro, I don't give a shit if they like it or not. I'm going to talk about what I do, because the more I talk about what I do, the more people see how big of a problem all this stuff is, and the more people they know who to reach out to. Okay, so I've been off work for 6 weeks recovering from my spinal fusion, and I've been hit up a bunch of times from random people, from buddies who their kids gotten themselves into some hot water, to people that just heard of me, people that just heard of what I do. So, hey, Mike, you don't know me, but this happened. Can you help me out? So I like putting myself out there. I like people knowing the problem that child pornography is, of the problem that sextortion is, and not just for kids, for adults as well. Adults are get sextorted all the time. It's sextortion, for anybody that doesn't know. It's basically extortion, but with a sexual related material. If you send out take a picture of yourself and somebody says, hey, I'm gonna post this on the internet unless you give me $200, that's sextortion. Okay, so now with me starting to blow up as an actor, I'm getting more and more known out there. So when people go to like my Instagram page, I have a little tiny bio of myself in there, so you can actually see. I put it's like fighter of child exploitation or something. So that'll get people intrigued, and people will watch stuff like this podcast and stuff like that, and they really find out about me and what I do, and so they can reach out to me. And if they're in another state, well, that's cool too. I can still help them, because I'll reach out to other agents in other states to get them the help that they need. So that's what it is, man. Again, the real Mike is very quiet, doesn't talk to anybody, but I also realize I'm in a very unique position where I can help a lot of people.
Yes.
So I put myself out there, and I provide as much help as possible. Again, serving that purpose.
Yes. Yeah. And what do you think about or feel about like those those got certain individuals on social media that kind of attempt to do what you do for a living, but they do it as like I don't know if you've seen it on like YouTube or whatever, but these guys that are talking YouTube, they'll pretend to be a kid, pedophile.
Yeah, that stuff. Sorry, let my dogs out.
You good, man?
So that stuff, and I've had other people reach out to me. Hey, I'm with this organization, or I do this and this and that, because I am federal law enforcement.
Yeah,
I have to stay away from all that stuff.
Gotcha.
I have to stay away from all those organizations. Now, if people want to go and try to take stuff into their own hands, do that vigilante stuff, that's their own prerogative. And of course, as long as they're doing it lawfully then I don't have a problem with that, and because they're trying to make the world a better place, of course. So I support that. But again, they have to be real careful on what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
Because if they're getting stuff, if they're trying to rope in these pedophiles by giving these pedophiles child pornography or something,
then they
just committed a felony. They just distributed child pornography, so now they're committing a felony.
That's why I wanted to ask.
Like just having it alone on your shit to give
just
somebody,
having it alone, possession of child pornography. Yeah. So you need to be real freaking careful with that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you're talking to somebody and you're posing as a kid and you're not giving anything bad, and the person is just trying to meet up with you and stuff like that, cool. That's one thing. And then you could turn that over to law enforcement. Like don't be trying to be freaking Batman. Go out there and meet somebody and beat them up, because once again,
that's
now
wrong.
Now you're going to commit a felony.
Because let's just say you beat the shit out of this dude or woman. Well, it's not always a dude, but say you beat the shit out of this person that you basically called to meet up with. I mean, what is it? It changed the degree of the murder or the assault, doesn't it? Like if it's premeditated at that point, like you planned to beat this dude's ass when he got there.
Yeah.
If you crack his head open on the concrete or something, and like, dude, it ain't worth it. Exactly. But if you're gonna do it, do it right, definitely, because like mentioned earlier, there's not enough people out there doing it, and I think I have seen some of those people you're talking about, KZ, that they do it on. They just kind of do it on their own YouTube channels, and they share like short TikTok, like 1 minute videos of them, just to get you to their page to see like. I hate watching that shit, dude, because like just like everyday looking people are the people that are like meeting up to do sexual shit with kids, dude, and it's just like you never fucking know who's around you and who's really into what, and it's fucking scares the shit out of me.
Kyle, did you look up pedophiles before you moved?
No, I live in a town of 800, and I figure it's the kind of place that people talk. So,
oh yeah.
I haven't heard of anything. I've lived here 2 years. I still haven't even looked it up, but I probably will after tonight.
We made the mistake of forgetting to do that. Like we will, because I mean this is our first house we've ever owned. So like we talked about it, and then like like I described earlier, like moving in was so fast and furious, and then it wasn't until after we moved and we're like, oh fuck, we didn't even look at the neighborhood, dude. And so we looked it up, and no shit, man, we found one.
How close to your house?
We're in our neighborhood, yeah, man. And what's crazy, dude, is like there's a high school like across the street from our neighborhood. So I don't know how that shit works.
It might be like a certain degree or something. I don't know.
There's certain law where you gotta stay.
Yeah, that individual. Yeah, I think it's literally like maybe 500 yards. Like that person is like literally on the edge of the like what's legal, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Fucking
people
crazy.
Are nuts, dude.
Yeah.
People are fucking nuts.
Yeah, and they tried to that certain individual tried to like help run like HOA, and my wife is on the board, and she's like, fuck no.
Yeah. There's certain apps that you can pull up. Let's see. You know what? Let's see. I will show you.
Type in Kindred, North Dakota. We're putting you on blast, Kindred.
Kindred, right? North Dakota?
Yeah. KINDRED.
While he's looking at that, I'm gonna read what James wrote here. I forgot who the convict was, but he was confessing to murdering a pedophile in court. I've seen that, dude. Have you seen that shit, Kyle?
No, I've seen a lot of that shit though, where like inmates kill these guys that go to prison, and then like everyone's just like, yeah, that's cool, no worries. Like he slipped and fell repeatedly 600 times.
Alder, I know who you're talking about because I've seen that video before. He's got hair's all slicked back, and I think he's got glasses and tattoos. But yeah, I know exactly what video you're talking about. That dude was like,
the guy that like hunted down pedophiles and was like actually killing them. And then got caught. Yeah, I think I heard of that. I don't know.
Yeah, I just remember he was what he said to the judge.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, he was a pedophile, so I fucking killed him. And I was like, oh shit, dude.
Like, well, I still gotta put you in prison.
Yeah,
I guess.
that's fucking.
It's like he's taking too long to answer. I feel like I live in a shitty town.
Yeah. So I don't. Probably can't see it because of the freaking glare, but
That hasn't focused yet.
no, it hasn't focused. Okay.
I saw some dots, dude.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
dots.
Yeah.
Hey,
Damn, you
man.
can't really-
Hey,
Okay, there you
man.
All right. Yeah. So that right there, that is a 3-mile radius.
Kindred's not even 3 miles.
This
Why?
is no, this is between West Fargo and Horace.
Yeah, that's the
So
town.
there's a whole bunch of dots, and I have them here too. And this app is NSOPW, and you can download that app, and it's wild, man. Like I remember I was sitting on my couch one day, and I was like, let me see what's around here.
Yeah.
And dude, there's within like a half mile of my place, there's a house with 3 convicted pedophiles. Like they're all living together.
Like having a party, dude.
They're all
Like,
living together, talking about kids' buttholes or whatever. I don't know.
Dang,
like who let y'all have a house together?
what's crazy?
Yeah, but the thing is, so these are just the guys that have been caught.
Yeah.
You know, that's just a very, very tiny portion of actual pedophiles.
Oh,
I heard a statistic one day saying that if you have 10 people, one of them's a pedo.
Dude, that's
One of them likes kids a little bit too much. Yeah.
that's pretty fucking scary to think of.
definitely something.
Yeah.
About, dude.
What's it called? NSOPW?
Yeah, NSOPW, and there's a website, nsopw.gov.
That might be what we use to look. That might be the same thing that we use to look it up. I think what's crazy is like that those websites will tell you exactly what they were convicted for sometimes.
Yeah. It'll talk about like what tier level sex
Yeah,
offenders
yeah.
they are, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. You know, like sodomy with a child under 12 or something. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. When we
Yeah.
looked the person in the neighborhood up, we were just like, what the fuck? And my found all the info, and I was just like, holy shit. Yeah, it's crazy. People are fucking evil, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is though, when you do look up this stuff, it's very important to look up what they were convicted over, right?
Yeah.
Because so one of these, like a sex offender convicted, yes, they're both sex offenders, but a person that is convicted of say raping a 7-year-old kid is much different than somebody that was convicted because they went to a college party and they had sex with a girl who snuck into the college party that said she was, you know, a freshman at the school, but really she's 15.
Yeah.
And then she got pissed off and ratted the guy out, which I've actually met girls in real life that would straight up do this stuff.
I was gonna say that sounded like something that you know personally.
Yeah. I met
Witness that
during
shit
during
with my friends.
my travels. I met one girl who got 3 guys sent to prison.
Holy.
She went out as a teenager, said she was older than she was, had sex with adults, got pissed off at them, got them in prison.
So isn't that illegal? But she's a child. So I mean, obviously that's illegal too. But like, I don't know. Like, where's the line drawn for like?
As far
wrong
as
if someone's truly tricked and like doesn't, but like
that's a fine line, man. That's hard to say. It's like at that point, who's at fault? That becomes like a he said, she said. But the bottom line is, he said, she said. But the bottom line is that underage girl has that adult's DNA. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's a scary world, man. Scary world.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind, listeners that are going to college parties. Before you have sex with a girl or a guy, ask for their ID. Show me the birth date.
Hell yeah. Well, you
Man, now I'm like looking up pedos around here, and I'm like, God.
Yeah.
for real, last question, Mike. Like, because you brought up statistics earlier, like in your and you don't have to say it if you don't want to, but like when it comes to like catching these pedophiles, men versus women, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but just I find it intriguing. Like, what is it? Is it more males versus females, or is it kind of?
Yeah, way more. I have actually, you know what? I take that back. I've worked very, very few cases where adult females were the offender. I worked one case with a female, but and this case is done. They're guys in prison. I worked one case with a female that she was married to a guy. The guy got sent to prison. The female had some stuff on there, but the thing is, the female, she had some mental disabilities. Okay, and so she got let off because it was pretty much she was doing that stuff not because she liked it, but as a way of, I need to keep my husband around.
Okay, I get that.
Because I can't make it on my own. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But with that said, though, there are some females that just do terrible things, like like cases. Like, I haven't worked the cases, but I know of cases where women were basically selling their children, doing stuff with their children, like on Skype and everything like that. People would pay them money, and they would do terrible things to these babies, and, you know, stuff like that. And, yeah, terrible. Yeah. So the vast majority is adult men. The vast majority is white men. That's the way it is, you know. But with that said, I've also had all walks of life. You know? So from the homeless person who's just kind of like hanging out of a location, tapping into somebody's Wi-Fi, downloading all this nasty stuff, to a millionaire in a bougie ass house. You know, with a beautiful family, beautiful wife, kids, everything. Yeah, all walks of life. Well, as you guys should know, you know, Pedo Island, you know, freaking.
Yeah, that shit's fucking crazy, dude. That shit, those names are still popping out. Like, every once in a while, we're like, oh, this dude was there too. You're like, what? Like your whole childhood is ruined because of that list that could possibly come out. Like, I can't support people that were there. But apparently, I don't know. Apparently, that's how you get famous too. It's like, yes, that's like a whole. That's like a whole thing too, that TikTok will run you down that rabbit hole. It's like, you know, to get famous, you got to do all that kind of shit. And I don't even want to go down there on this show, but it's just a fucked up world that we live in. And it's awesome to know that there's still good people out there like yourself to help us and stuff like that. And then with that, like, I'll ask one more. I don't usually ask a whole lot of questions, but I do got one for the listeners and for parents, like, just what are some like final ways you could probably say to just some things to look out for our, like, as parents, to be kind of helpful, like proactive on this situation with our kids if there's something to come up.
Yeah. So one thing is, know your child's friends list, right? So instruct and tell the kid, again, education is the key here. You know, tell the kid about the horrors of online stuff. You know, what could happen. Do some research, right? Google search, you know, stuff that's happened and talk about real world cases, you know, so they know this stuff actually happens. Go through their friend list. Right. So say, again, on Instagram, okay, how do you know this person? How do you know that person? You know, and if they don't know that person in real life, or if like one of their good friends doesn't know that person in real life, delete them.
Yeah, that's how I still am to this day on Facebook.
Yeah. I have like 750 people in limbo for my Facebook friend request.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, because I go on most of these profiles, and most of them are fake profiles, right? Yeah, I click on them, and they're obviously stolen. Okay,
Yeah.
for one, it's supposed to be like some pretty white girl from like Eastern states, and she is definitely not talking, grammatically correct. You know,
Hey.
and yeah, and
Oh
am
my God, I love you.
am American, am searching for love.
Oh,
It's
have
like
credit
stupid, like
card.
stuff.
Send it.
Yeah, it's like stupid stuff like that, and it has like 3 pictures or something, it's like, okay. Yeah, so because all these people, man, these scammers, they'll sit there and they'll just start friending a bunch of people. So what happens is a lot of these kids, a lot of these adults too, they'll see somebody and it'll be like, oh wow, okay, Jenny Smith has 25 mutual friends with me. Oh, she's friends with this guy. Oh, so she must be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, Jenny Smith is freaking fake. Jenny Smith is some Nigerian guy who's a scammer and just friended a whole bunch of people.
Mhm.
And so as Jenny Smith gets that friend, well, now they're going to that friends list and friending up more people. So they're looking to scam people that way. So again, unless your kid knows that person or they act or like somebody close to them actually knows that person in real life, delete them, whatever. Put their accounts on private.
Yes.
So bad guys can't go and steal their pictures or whatever. Yeah, stuff like that. Watch out for if your kid is on their cell phone or their computer and you walk by them and it goes black, you need to find out what's going on.
Oh,
Okay? Yeah, I'm not saying they're talking to somebody that's grooming them. It could be something not totally bad. Maybe they're, I don't know, dropping F-bombs with their friend about a video game or something that they got beaten or something, like, F you, I can't believe you beat me in freaking Fortnite.
Right.
It could be something as simple as that, but still find out, because in my experience, walking by people and their screen goes black, it's for a reason.
Yeah,
They're
especially,
doing
yeah,
something.
this,
They're
like-
doing something they're not supposed to. Yeah,
Hi.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What were you-
kids and adults,
Right.
stuff like that. Again, if you want to install parental monitoring apps, see what your kid's doing. Use parental restrictions. Maybe have a blackout period. Like a cell phone provider. You could completely shut down a cell phone or so from like say the hours of midnight to 7 a.m.
Yeah, which is
So your kid's not up at
which
3
you
o'clock in the
don't
morning
want.
talking to some freaking pedo.
Yeah, completely unsupervised, because you're asleep.
Yeah.
And that's a huge time they said too on that show is like that they the bark people said that like that's a big time they're out trying to get your kids too, is they know you're asleep, they know you're not paying attention, and that's huge. And I'm just like, man, fuck tablets, fuck a screen. I'm gonna get rid of all the screens. Every screen in my house is about to get, you're all gone.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's also not the way to live either, but
Yeah. Also, another big thing is watch cameras in your house. Okay, so like if your kid has their laptop and the laptop is open and it's like facing their bed or something, or facing anything but like a wall in their room,
yeah.
you need to slide the little privacy filter over their camera or put a piece of like black tape over it or something, because these guys are extremely good at what they do. Okay, I've been on apps that had live feeds to baby monitors, so facing a baby's bed, a baby's bed where the mom and dad change the baby and stuff like that.
is that so we have one that's like a closed network one. Is that even in those two? Like not even like not one that uses Wi-Fi, but one that only like this one here, it only goes to the camera and to this screen.
Yeah,
they can get into that too.
Yeah,
That's scary.
yeah, man. Yeah, it's freaking scary, dude. It's scary. Yeah.
Because I know that, like, I've thought of that, and I've always been paranoid of that.
Yeah.
So like we don't have I don't have a Ring. I don't have like cameras inside my house. Like I don't have none of that shit, just because Like I worry about, people being able to just sneak it. Not that I'm like doing anything I'm trying to hide, just that that's a weird fucking feeling to me, especially because I've seen videos of like in probably this, you probably seen this shit in plenty in your work, but like where like let's just say a young girl lives alone, has like a ring, or like I think it was the one that feeds treats to your dog, that you can video chat with your dog and feed treats. Somebody hacked that thing, and when like she was like walking by where it was, and she had just gotten out of the shower, so she had her towel on, and then dude was like, "Yo, you look good as fuck," or something like that, and she was like,
That's creepy.
like, "Excuse me," and she's like, "You blonde in the towel," like,
Yeah.
and like she finally figured out it was coming from the dog thing, and was like, "Yo, like." So yeah, like people need to understand, like even if you're like, just because it's on your Wi-Fi network, and like like it's not safe. So like still, do as much as you can to keep information off of shit. And like that would just be like when that wasn't even me, I had that feeling of just like complete and total like invasion of privacy. Like you're just like nothing is sacred.
Yeah. It's a scary freaking world, man. It's a scary world. Now the thing is, especially with babies and stuff like that, young kids, I'm not saying don't have cameras inside your house.
Right.
But you need to be cognizant of like what's going on, what is shown on that camera.
Yeah.
Make sure you're not walking around naked in front of the camera. Make sure you're not changing the baby in front of the camera. Maybe only activate the camera at night when you put your baby down for to go to sleep. Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then as soon as the baby wakes up and you're going to do daily activities, get the baby dressed, change the baby. Now you flip the camera around or unplug the camera completely.
Yeah, I was just saying, because
same thing with your house.
They can still activate it too, huh? Like
What's
if it's plugged in, they can still get to it too,
if
right?
it's plugged in, yeah.
That's what
bullshit.
If you have cameras in your house, like facing your living room, or some people have cameras in their bedroom even.
Oh, people got their whole houses
like,
wired up now.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's technology, dude. I'm not doing that.
So when you're home, just disconnect everything. Okay. Now, if you're gonna leave for the day, now plug it in. Okay, because it is good to know if something's going on in your house.
Yeah, like I definitely want to get one. Not like a ring, but I want to find one that's like the most secure that I can. I don't know, like, because I know they're making a show off a ring right now, like that. It's like America's Funniest Home Video. Wanda Sykes is about to host this thing. It's like the funniest ring videos of whatever, and it's like shit that they're harvesting off of Ring because you agreed to let them have your fucking ring, that they can just be like, oh, that was funny, let's put it on and make them famous for it, so like you don't even remember, now you're embarrassed as fuck on national TV, you didn't even get any money off it because you agreed not to get paid. So I mean, like I want to stay away from that.
You gotta be careful too, Kyle. I mean, because you're because nowadays kids go to school on day one, dude, they're issued laptops with webcams. So just be cognizant of stuff, dude. It's wild.
Yeah, that makes me even want to just sleep with my phone in the other room, charging in the kitchen. Ugh. That's just scary.
Scary world, man. Scary world.
But,
the main thing though, as far as like tips and stuff for kids, I always tell the parents the number one thing is communication.
Exactly.
Have an open line of communication with the kids, because technology is changing all the time. Okay, if you give your kids some kind of technology, like a new phone or video game system or whatever, use it first. All right, do some research, see its capabilities, see what it does. Okay, because you might be handing your kid a portable video game system. It's not a cell phone, right? You're handing your kid a portable video game system, thinking that it can't access all this bad stuff. It can't have live chat with pedophiles. But in reality, your kid could talk to all these people. Right? Your kid could go on all these websites. So figure out what stuff is going on. So do the research on the devices that you're giving the kid. Have an open line of communication. Tell them about the horror stories, the real world stuff. Show them real examples instead of like, don't do this or you get in trouble. No, show them like real world examples of this stuff happening. and the repercussions of sending out nasty messages. Talk to them about grooming, about, hey, dude, listen, if you're 12 years old and some 25-year-old is chatting you up, that is not your soulmate. That's a pedophile. And you need to report this person. Okay. Tell them, go on the apps and the websites that your kids go on to and figure out how to report people. Okay. All these apps and websites, there's a way to report a user, like somebody's saying something not supposed to, sending something that they're supposed to. You could report that person. You could report that image or whatever, ensure your kids know how to do all that stuff. So if something bad comes up, they can take care of it before it becomes a major issue. Just stuff like that, man. Just communication. Let them know that they can turn to you in their time of need, and you're not going to flip out, and you're not going to hit them, or you're not going to nuke their world, take all their electronics away from them, make them have no friends. Because then if they get into some deep water, they're not going to come to you. They're going to hide it. And then they're going to turn to somebody else who's going to give, like a teenager, who's going to give them some terrible advice, and they're going to get themselves in deeper water. Yeah. Because imagine like if your kid sent out a naked picture to somebody, and now they're being sextorted. That monster wants $300, or they're going to spread it out to the world. Well, your kid knows, man, if I go to dad, he's going to go ape crap on me. And nuke my world. Let me ask my friend what I should do. And then little Jimmy over here says, dude, just give him the money so he doesn't spread it out. Well, now you're giving that monster $300. Now the monster's going to want more money and more money. You know what I'm saying? So communication is the key, man. Be there for your kids.
That's fucking nuts, dude. It's a hard episode to have, but it's like definitely one I wanted to have, especially when you told me that's what you do. It's definitely something I want to have on our platform forever for people to reference and hear. And then we'll definitely we'll watch you back on again and again and again, just to always talk about this kind of stuff, because like there's not enough there's not enough way people talking about the dangers there is. I mean, and how common, like, because I feel like when it happens to someone, they're like not super quick to talk about it because they might feel judged for like not being, I wasn't watching my kids enough, and this happened to them, and it's my fault. And what would you say to that parent? I know I said one last question, but that's one last question.
All right, so I get it. When this stuff happens, it's scary, it's embarrassing, and I get it. But if you don't get the help you need, if you don't reach out to the right person, your mental health is going to suffer. You're going to dig yourself in a deeper hole. Your personal connections are going to get severed. Like that kid I told you about. He ran into some issues. He kept asking his friends for money. He burned bridges because of that. Some of those friends will never come back because of him taking money from them. So I know it's embarrassing and you're scared and stuff like that, but you have to reach out to the right person, because if you don't get help right away, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. Then you're going to lose sleep. Mental health is going to suffer. Some people commit suicide over this stuff. Some people get divorced. Some people disown their kids. Some kids disown their parents. Stuff like that. So just find out, help somebody out. If you reach out to somebody and they don't help you out, reach out to somebody else.
Yeah, just keep trying.
Whoever's on this, man, you could hit me up. Send me a message on Facebook. Michael Rock on Facebook, on Instagram, Cadre Mike Rock. Send me some stuff there. Then from there, I can give you my actual official work email. And then once you send me like an official work email, then I can get you the help you need. I can pass you off. No matter what state you're in, I can find somebody to help you out.
That's awesome, dude.
I can find someone to help you out. Help out your kid, help out your loved one, stuff like that.
That's
So,
fucking awesome.
yeah. And so that's why I put myself out there, man. You know, somebody's lifeline. And I'm telling you right now, no matter what you say to me, no matter what you say to me, no matter what has been done, you will never ever shock me, right? You will never scare me away. I've seen it all. Right? I've seen just countless. My life, my daily life is nightmare fuel. All right, so you are not going to scare me away. All right, I just want to help. So,
Hell yeah, man.
Hell yeah, Mike, dude, I really appreciate you coming on and like chatting with us tonight, man.
hey, you're welcome. Oh yeah, hey, one more thing, guys. So if you ever want like an online safety presentation for like parents and educators,
yeah,
if you get people and if you host like a Zoom, or something like that,
yeah,
like I can do that for you guys.
Yeah, that would be
You know,
great.
you just you just pick like a date and time. I have a presentation I can go over. You know, gives parents tips. Again, I go over like real world examples and stuff like that. You know, so that's just.
That would definitely. I wonder if that would be something.
I love to do it.
That would be something that I could set up here in town. I mean, just as I'm sure, and I'm sure people just aren't even aware like what to do or like how to combat it. So I mean, like, just I think that would be great.
Yeah, and then like we can do it online, or even if you wanted to grab like a bunch of friends and family or something, parents at your house or whatever. You know, you can put me on the computer and broadcast me on a TV, whatever, man. You know, whatever. I'm just use me. I'm your tool, man. Use me however you need. You know.
dude.
Oh yeah,
man. Appreciate I appreciate that, dude. We really. And,
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I guarantee you, one of us, either Kyle and I, or both of us, are going to take you up on that offer because it's. I mean, like you said, like education is the tool, and I appreciate that. So we're gonna go ahead and sign up for the night. Mike, I appreciate you coming on, telling your story.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome.
Former badass tanker, not former badass tanker turned Green Beret. I love your story, dude. Your moral compass where it led you to where you're at today, and just fighting that fight that us, me as a parent especially love. I love that you do what you do, and I really, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate
it, man. Thank you.
I appreciate you doing what you do for our kids. So thank you for that. And on a lighter note, for our guests out there that are listening or that are going to listen, Mike, when's the Ghost coming out on Tubi?
So Ghost will be released on Tubi. They never give us an actual date, but it's been picked up by Tubi, so probably 2 or 3 weeks. Ghost is currently on some apps and a website right now called POV Horror.
Okay.
POV Horror, and then wickedhorrortv.com. You can go on there. You can do like a free 7-day trial, then just cancel right away, and you'll still have 7 days, and then you can watch it there. It's like a completely new spin on found footage. Like Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
Completely new spin on found footage. Like it's like what we did with Ghost, man. Like it's never been done before for found footage. And people that have watched it, people that are into found footage, they watch it and they freaking loved it. I had a big premiere at a local theater here in Reno. People went crazy for it. So it's something very different. Very different.
I'll have to check it out, dude. It sounds dope.
Yeah. Now keep in mind. So how I like to roll, me and my buddy Dylan, from Horror Nerd Productions, the way we work together, we work better with no script. So when you're watching this movie, keep in mind, like there's no script. If you watch Tahoe Joe on Tubi, keep in mind there's no script. We just go.
That's how this is.
That's how this is. Yeah. So again, man, it's fun, dude. It's fun. So that's me, gentlemen. So Mike Rock, tanker, Green Beret, pedophile hunter, bodybuilder, actor. That's typical shit.
Typical.
Love that. That's a hell of a resume, dude. Congratulations for that, dude. That's awesome.
Thanks,
for listeners out there, if you want to be on, the podcast, just like Mike tonight, email us veteranchatproject@gmail.com. We're on all the platforms. Like we tell everybody before we sign off, you're not alone in your mental health fight. Share your story with us. If you think you're alone, let me prove it to you. Come on the podcast and we'll have a chat. I guarantee you're not alone. So, Mike, thanks. Kyle, you got anything else for the night?
I do not.
Awesome.
Right.
Awesome, dude. Thanks for chatting with us, man.
Gentlemen,
Guys, love you. Good night.
It's been an honor.
You can stick around for. We're just gonna hit end on the record.
Yeah. Hey. So Skip.
Shit.
Skip Alder.
I don't think I ended it yet. You're good.
No, you're good.
Yeah. Hey, Skip Alder, man. Hey, I appreciate you guys linking me up with these gentlemen. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
Really?
he's
Thank you,
like I
folks.
said, he's our dude. He's definitely he leans, he watches. He's like our main, right? He's the only one still watching. So yeah, man. Later, Alder. You should get your patches real soon. I mailed them out Saturday. So yeah. Later.